This is Liz.
This is Jade.
And this is Carly. And you're listening to
Babes and
Babies. How many people out there do you think are like, ew, I hate when they do that?
Even I hate it sometimes.
I do too.
I'm like, ugh.
I do too. Like, is there another way we can do it? Like, hey, we're open to your thoughts. Let us know your thoughts on how we can say babes and babes is not as annoying.
Yeah, I always try to think, I'm going to think of something much more creative. And then next thing I know, we're podcasting and I'm like, babes. Like, it just comes out.
We could do like Liz says babes and you say and I say babies. That would go faster maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just spitting out ideas here.
Yeah, we act like we took too much
I still want the
Benadryl or
jingle.
something.
I still feel like we need to break into a 3-piece harmony jingle.
No. Wait, I think that actually really babes and babies. Like that could work. We're like you know those old barbershop quartets?
Yeah.
Yes.
We could be like
That's
we could
what
be
I'm
like
saying.
that. I like the idea. I do.
Carly's going to hold us down, and Jade and I will try to be on key.
Oh, no. You guys can.
I'll play the kazoo.
I know that you can.
That was
good. That'll be our starting pitch.
Your fake kazoo was on point.
It actually was really good. It was very good.
Oh my gosh. How was your guys' weeks?
Oh gosh, what happened?
What did happen?
I feel like this has been just one of those weeks where everything goes wrong. I'm not going to get into specifics, but it's just been one of those weeks where, you know, you try to look at the sunny side of life and the sunny side's like a little cloudy. So I'm trying to stay positive over here. But the good news is I went into this podcast today drinking wine. So that's going to make things better.
There you go. Take a little bit of the edge off.
Wine makes all things better.
Not that wine solves problems, but like sometimes it just like makes you smile a little bit more.
But sometimes it does solve problems.
Fair.
We were doing some wedding planning yesterday, and Vito's mom was like, "Do you want a glass of wine? We should have wine." I was like, "You're absolutely right. We should have wine for this.
You should have lots of wine for that." Can I just say that your whiteboard that you guys write on,
you guys
that
are
is
intense.
Giant, is the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's like you're trying to solve a murder.
I know. It's true.
You look
It's so funny.
You mean business. Like, that thing is legit.
Yeah. Well,
it's huge.
It was actually Vito's idea yesterday. So yesterday I was so annoyed. First of all, I haven't PMS this hard in a very long time. And I think it's just the stress of planning and work has been stressful and all these things. So I have been slightly a nightmare. And so yesterday we went to church and then we came home and I don't know what happened, but I was just annoyed. And I'm like, I'm going to go shut myself in my room. And I crawl in my bed. And I'm like, I'm not coming out. And I'm like, or Vito's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to go cry into a pillow now. And so he comes in a little bit later and he's like, babe, can you come downstairs and help me with something? And I'm like, fine. And so I come down the stairs and he has the whole whiteboard out and he has all the venues we were looking at written down. And I was like, oh, you're so cute. And then I started to get into it. But I was so mad because on Saturday we were doing some wedding stuff. And once again, just PMSing. I've been eating like crap. I feel like crap. I'm I'm just getting fat. I don't know. So, when you're just I'm gross. What is life? Yeah. And then the back of my front tooth chips.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm laying there and I'm like, what is in my mouth? And I floss and this chunk of the back of my tooth comes out and I'm like, now my teeth are falling out. What is going on?
Also, you have the prettiest teeth I've ever seen. You have great teeth.
Thank you. Well, they're falling out. So now, and then I was like, the rest of it's going to come out. And Vito's like, no, I can't even see it. But you know how when you fill it with your tongue, it feels huge.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
But now I'm like, yeah, but now it's weakened and it's probably going to chip all the way across. And all my worst nightmares are coming in my head, you know?
No.
But
what are you going to do? You going to the dentist?
Yeah, I need to go to the dentist. But
where's Chris Strandberg, right? Cupcake.
I know.
Cupcake. Help my teeth.
I haven't been to the dentist in so long. It's like really scary, you guys.
Me either.
I'm
oh my
nervous.
Gosh. When do
like
you,
years.
Tana and I were talking about this. When do you take a baby to the dentist for the first time? Because Emmy now
I know
has
this answer.
4 teeth and like 6 coming in.
So they say, I just talked to a pediatric dentist the other day at Finn's first birthday. They say anywhere from the first tooth onward, you can take them in.
Whoops.
But you don't have to. Like it can be when they have all of their teeth. Like it doesn't matter. It's like whatever you feel.
We have these little things that you put on your finger that you can scrub their teeth with.
Oh yeah.
So we use those, but I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, because we haven't been to the dentist forever either. And I was like, when do I take her? And do I have to get a special pediatric dentist?
Yes, I think so. Okay. Well, I mean, she is one. She takes patients from like the first tooth all the way to 21, which is so fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Sorry, Liz.
Why?
Oh, because
I hate dentists.
I took over that conversation.
Oh no, you're good. I have a horrible memory in the dentist chair as a child because I hated going to the dentist so much. And I remember I went to Dr. Westfall and I just remember him telling me, Liz, you have to quit screaming. You're scaring the other patients.
You were screaming?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I hated the dentist and I was like screaming. And I just remember him being like, you have to stop screaming. Like you're scaring the other kids here. So I like kind of feel slightly traumatized by the dentist. Like, I don't know why. Like the last time I had a cavity, I made them drill without numbing me because I hate getting numbed in my mouth.
Oh my gosh.
But it wasn't bad. It wasn't like a deep cavity. And I said, if it hurts, I'll let you know and you can numb me. But my sister does the same thing. We're both like freaked out by it. So I don't know.
The dentist doesn't bother me at all.
Ugh.
I mean,
I hate the dentist.
braces. And so you have to go every month. And it just never bothered me. I was like, oh, just whatever. I don't know. I was that kid who didn't really care.
I was just thinking last night about making a dentist appointment, and I was like, I'm going to have so many cavities because I haven't been in so many years. And like now it makes me not want to go to the dentist more because I know that I'm going to get shots in my mouth and be drilled on. And so I'm like just completely freaked out.
I'd rather them like make me pass out, just like knock me out.
Yes. You know what? Someone said you just need laughing gas. I think that's what I need.
They have that. Isn't it called like gentle dentistry where they literally just knock you out?
That's what I need.
Pretty sure.
I want
it's for people who have like fears of the dentist.
Yeah, I think I have developed that. You know what I hated the most when I was little is that polisher that's like zzz, that like you put. It's like it like goes zzz on your teeth. You know what I'm talking about? It like moves around. Oh god,
I just used to hate the fluoride. Remember they give you the fluoride toothpaste? And it's like, it's grape. You'll like it. And it's disgusting.
It's not. It doesn't taste like grape. It's ew.
I don't know why we're talking about the dentist, but
I'm sorry for all you dentists out there. Like, we love you. We just don't like going to you. Right. It's nothing personal.
Okay. So, Liz, can I ask you, have you guys found a place, like a venue? Because I know you've been like seriously cranking out your planning.
I know. So we've narrowed it down to 2. So we're actually, what we're going to do, we're going to have a destination wedding, but we're having a reception back here in the Chicago area. We narrowed it down to a couple of places where we're going to be going. We set a date. And yes, February 22nd.
Yay!
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
Yeah. And then back here, we looked at a couple, but the one we fell in love with can't hold the capacity of an Italian reception. So we are looking at another one. Actually, this girl on Instagram wrote me and she's like, you should check out this place called Bricks on Fox. And it actually looks like this really cool venue. So they have an open house on the 30th. We might try to make it to, or just try to get an appointment. But it's like this like cool, just like open space that you can kind of make it your own.
That's awesome.
So are you doing all the planning yourself or do you have a wedding planner?
I don't have a wedding planner.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I have my mom and Vito's mom, and they've been so helpful.
Oh, nice.
That is nice.
Yeah. My mom, like all the places, like for the destination wedding, she's the one who called them all, got all the information, like emailed it to us.
That's
if I'm like,
awesome.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, we're interested in this place. She'll call them, email with them, get the info for us. And Vito's mom's been working on like stuff here. Like she went with us to go see that one venue yesterday. She's been calling caterers and stuff like that to try to like figure everything out. But I feel like, honestly, I don't know if I could have a wedding coordinator because I feel like I want to be in control of it all. I don't know.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I understand that feeling.
Oh my God. I'm like the polar opposite. I was like, just do whatever you feel.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even need to know. Like, if you think it's cool, like, just do it.
Well, and I honestly, like, we're on a budget. I don't know, like, if
right.
I'm planning on making most of my own centerpieces, and I'm planning on, like, doing as much as we can ourselves, just because having a big wedding adds up and is expensive, and we want to have leftover money for a honeymoon. So,
ooh, where do you want to go?
We're between right now Thailand and Australia.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So we want to go for like 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah. The thing is, Australia, expensive. We could do, Australia will be full of more activities and will be more expensive. But I mean, we definitely want to go to Australia and New Zealand because we've never been. But Thailand, we could like, it'd be more relaxing and you get more bang for your buck there. Like 100%. The most expensive thing's the plane ticket, and then you just can lay on a beach.
You eat for like $1.
So cheap. Yes.
Just like crazy. Yeah.
So, but yeah, and they really do have nice beaches there. And I love Thailand. So
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, I just hope my teeth quit falling out.
just get it fixed, and then you'll be just fine.
And I just want my PMSing to be over. And
hang in there.
PMSing's the worst.
We'll be back to normal.
Worst. Jade, what is going on in your life this week?
Not a lot, guys. Well, I guess it's been a major event in our house that I have finally accepted that Emerson needs to nap on her own.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That is a big thing.
So she's actually been doing really well. Like right now she's sleeping in her crib and she's been taking her naps on her own. So we're working towards that. But I feel like she's just at this stage. Well, she's had a lot of attitude changes, to be honest. She's getting feisty and she's getting very, very independent and sassy, and like she's just getting to this point to where like it's just too much for me if I'm trying to get her to like nap within like how we were doing it. And so now I'm just kind of like, okay, I think it's like you're finding your independence, so I think it's time that you independently start sleeping.
Right.
So that's
how do you feel?
Actually it's been really nice. I don't regret the last year of having her like not nap on her own. Because I feel like that's just the way I wanted to parent. But now that she's sleeping for about 3 to 4 hours on her own during the day, it's
nice.
That's amazing.
Right. She takes 2 naps. So it's just weird to have all this free time. So
what are you going to do with your life?
I know. I'm like, what? Like, I can actually sit down and get my laptop out and write emails and not have a child come over and be like, I want to press all the keys on the keyboard.
Right.
You know? So it's been nice. And I feel like it's just time. I feel like I feel the way she's been expressing herself lately, she's wanting to be more independent. So I've just been trying to take her cues, but it's been good.
Jade cracks me up. I love you so much, Jade. You're like such this like, because you're just like such this like in tune mom of I'm just feeding off of her energy, taking her cues. I'm sensing this is what she needs. Like I love it.
It's so funny. I was listening to a Super Soul Sunday, of course, again the other day, and it was one on it was like an old one on conscious parenting, and that's basically what it says. It says like, love the kid that's rebellious because their like soul isn't being repressed by the things that of the world, and take their cues, and like the soul needs to be independent and all these things. And I was like, this is so interesting. So,
Wild Mustang.
Yeah, totally.
That is like the essence.
She says she loves the wild child because that kid's free. The soul is free. That was really interesting.
Yeah, I really try to, I mean, I know Emerson's only 12 months, but I really try to limit my no's even now. And I do tell her no, but I do want her to have her own sense of freedom. Like now she wants to, you know, those little pouches of baby food.
Yeah.
So I used to like give it to her and I would hold it and then she would take it from me. Now she doesn't even want me to hand it to her. I have to sit it. I have to sit it on the like high chair, whatever, the table.
Yeah.
And I have to sit it there and I have to walk away and I have to let it be her choice now. And then she'll take it herself. She'll like move her head back and forth if I try to give it to her. So she's already making decisions. It's crazy.
So funny. Bella's kind of like that with a pacifier. Like, if I try to put it in her mouth, she gets really mad. But if I just like put it down and then she picks it up, she'll put it in her mouth. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
It's pretty amazing how they just have their own little decisions already.
So funny. Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Hey, have you girls checked out the Ferguson twins Instagram lately? Because they keep linking Poshmark and selling all of their clothes, and I want to buy every single thing that they own.
They have
leather way skinnier.
Yeah, I love secondhand things. It's
me
my
too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not only can you actually buy cute stuff on Poshmark, you can sell your cute stuff on Poshmark. So I actually have a pair of black Manolo heels that I bought to go on Good Morning America after Chris Soul's season because I wanted it was a big deal for me. And now my feet are too big after pregnancy, so I can't wear them. And I have these amazing shoes that I would love to sell to somebody who can actually wear them.
Totally.
Well, if you want to buy these shoes, it's super easy. All you have to do is download the free Poshmark app. Poshmark carries women, kids, and men's shoes, so you can buy some stuff for your boo on there as well. Poshmark has tons of brands to shop from, and you won't believe the deals that you'll find on Poshmark. It is amazing, and it's the easiest way to buy and sell your fashion items. And shipping is so easy, super fast, and you see something you want, you can make an offer to the seller.
Amazing. And listeners of Babes and Babies get $5 off your first purchase. Just enter the referral code BABIES when you sign up. That's the referral code BABIES, guys. Go do it. Buy all of the things. And Jade shoes. Yeah.
Well.
I am so excited for our episode today because Carly is going to be our special guest, and I feel like I have so much to learn about you.
Oh my gosh, I'm drinking more wine right now.
Are you ready for this?
I'm really not. I'm like nervous about it. You know what's funny is I was like asking my mom, like, what was I like in elementary school? What was I like here? What was like? I know that it was me and I was alive, but like, are my memories correct? I don't know. Like, it's so funny. I was like, what? Is this really how I was? Because I remember being like this. Well, yeah, you know, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. We'll just go with
stalling,
the flow.
Basically.
I feel like when I did my interview, it was just kind of whatever came out of my mouth. So I feel like whatever, no pressure, whatever comes out, comes out.
Well, I'm very, very curious about you. So I'm excited.
And Liz has it all lined up for you.
Oh my gosh, I know. We'll just make this really casual. I have every single question ready.
This is going to be a 52-question interview.
I'm going to need a bottle of wine.
Right. No, you might. No, I mean, let's just start at the beginning as we did with all of us. Tell us, where were you born?
I was born in Denton, Texas, which is funny because that's my brother's name.
Oh, okay.
And then I lived like pretty much all of my life. We moved like around houses a lot, but that's just because like my parents like love change. Because it's like, oh, I'm bored in this house. Let's move to this one, which is exactly how I am. But I lived in Dallas until I was a senior. Like when I went to college, I had lived in Dallas till then.
What place in the birth order are you?
I'm the baby. I'm third. So I have two older brothers.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, the baby girl.
Yes.
Were you
the
planned?
Baby girl? I was. My mom really wanted a girl. So they were just going to keep trying until they had a girl. You're welcome. Yeah. But I get that. Like if I hadn't had a girl, I would keep trying until I had a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Oh yeah, you would have been in a house full of men then.
I mean, God sent me Bella. Like, she is the angel from heaven. I would go crazy, I think.
Oh, man. Okay, so what were you like, I guess, as a little kid?
Okay, so I asked my mom this question the other day. My question for her was, what was I like in elementary school? And she said you were just, which is I'm still exactly the same. She said you just always knew what you wanted. Like, you would say, I'm going to be a singer. And then you would talk to everybody about being a singer. And then everything from that, like my brothers were in sports. They knew how to do sports. They didn't know how to deal with a girl who wanted to be a singer. Mm-hmm. But I would talk to people and they'd be like, oh, did you know there's a musical coming up? Do you want to try out? And I'd be like, Mom, I'm trying out for this musical. You know, and I'm like in 3rd grade. And she's like, okay, where do I go? You know what I mean? Like, that's how I was. I think I was like, I want to do this and you're going to take me to do it.
And I'm
like, but that's also how I still am. I just always knew what I wanted. And I don't know if I got special treatment because I was like the girl and the baby, but I think I was so different. And my mom was like, okay, I'll just let you lead because it seems like you know what you want to do.
Yeah.
So
honestly, I feel like that sounds almost like a dream because I feel like when kids are younger, you put them in different things. So they are like, oh, let's try this and see if you're interested. Let's try that and see if you're interested. You're like, this is what I like. This is what I'm interested in.
And I did. Like, I mean, I tried sports. I was in like T-ball and I was like horrible and hated it. I was in soccer and every time I'd try to, don't tell the boys I was in soccer, by the way. I don't tell them that. But every time I remember I shot like 2 goals or something. And both times I like hit the goal post, which I think is actually pretty good because that post is very small and the goal is very big. So technically I did a good job. But like it was, you know, I was in gymnastics and nothing ever really stuck. And then like singing to me was like the thing that stuck. Mm-hmm. So I was in sports. I was even in basketball until my dad was my basketball coach until like 6th grade.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then I quit his team to be in Texas Girls Choir. He was really nice about it, but I'm sure the team did horribly after that because I was so good. Actually, I was good. But yeah.
Would you say that you're more like, I guess, that quality of knowing what you want? Are you more like your mom or your dad?
I have both because my mom is very like, she's very outgoing. She can go and like talk to anybody. And like, if my mom's like, ooh, I'm interested in this, she'll like really go like investigate that. But I'm also like my dad in the fact that like my dad just does his own thing. He'll be like, hey, can I have your opinion on this? And he'll be like, I'll never listen to it. Like he doesn't actually care ever. He doesn't care about your opinion, but he wants like to be in a conversation to like talk about his opinion, and then he'll go do whatever his opinion is. And that's, I mean, also kind of like me because I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I'm glad for your perspective, but
right. Which is like not a great thing, but you know, and like being married, it's probably really not a great thing, but like I try to compromise. I really do. And I'm getting better at it, but Evan's really nice at kind of letting me like do my thing when I need to do my thing.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny because you're very go with the flow with certain things, but then yet you have that side of your personality where it's like not like stubborn, maybe stubborn, but it's kind of like
I think stubborn.
Yeah. Where you're like, this is what I want and I'm going to do it. And if you don't like it, I don't care.
Right. But it comes out like every so often.
Yeah, but it's good. Like, that's a good quality to have though, too, because it makes you like not a pushover, I feel like.
Right.
Especially when it comes down to you like your morals or you know what I mean? Like you're going to stand your ground.
Yeah. And there's certain things like, and I mean, a lot of this is just coming from Evan and I. This is my longest relationship I've ever had. I know that sounds really weird, but 2 years is like my longest relationship.
Yeah.
And I so learn the things that I'm allowed to be like, I'm just going to go do this. Like the other day, I was like really tired. I came home and a lot of people are here and I was like, you need to come to my car and get the dog out and the baby out and I'm going out for a while. Like, and you know, and like, he's like, okay. Cause I don't do that. But sometimes like, he's like, Carly just does that. You know, she just does her own thing sometimes and I just have to let her do it. Cause then she'll come home and be normal again. So, yeah.
So you guys know I've been venting to you about the craziness of planning this wedding already. And I literally feel like I have no time to do anything else. And that is why I love Prep Dish, because now I don't have to plan my meals for the week either. And Vito loves it when I feed him. I think that's actually why he's marrying me. So I can't stop doing that. But I don't feel like I have time to plan this. So I love Prep Dish because I get to select what kind of menu I want. And then I get customized recipes for the week. It gives me my grocery list, the recipes, the prep, everything right there. So I don't feel like I really have to do that much work except for pick it up and then make it.
What I love about Prep Dish too is you can have specific dietary restrictions or needs met with it. It does gluten-free, dairy-free, paleo meals, vegan, anything. You can eat healthy with it, and it just makes the grocery list for you. It's so easy.
Evan and I just made the turkey and zucchini lasagna because lasagna and spaghetti are his favorite foods, and it was so, so good. And the founder, Allison, is offering listeners a free 2-week trial just to try it out. You can't beat that. Check out prepdish.com/babies for this amazing deal. Again, that's prepdish.com/babies for your first 2 weeks for free. God, that's a no-brainer.
When you were in school, like as in elementary and stuff, what kind of student were you?
I always was worried about like doing badly in class. I do remember this is like, you know, when you think back on like your first memories, this is one of my first memories of school. I think I was in kindergarten and the teacher had given me an A- on something. I was very upset, like very upset. And it was an orange pen. And I remember I took a crayon and I made the minus into a plus.
Yes.
and I took it back up there. And she was like, did you make this? And I mean, it's obviously like in a crayon and a pen. Like, it's very different. It's even a different color orange. And she was like, did you do this? I was like, oh, no. This was just an A+. And I feel like if I was a teacher at that point, I'd be like, this girl's a genius or this girl is going to be really bad, you know?
Yeah, but I was both.
But like... I think that was one of the first times I was ever very rebellious. Now I would like never do that. I'm like terrified now. But I think I was always like a good student. Like I always wanted to do good in school. Like, that was always like one of my things. But in 5th grade, I got super sick. And I was out. They had to like have a meeting to see if I could even pass the grade because I would go to school every single morning and I would walk in and I would smell the smell of the cafeteria and I would throw up. And they couldn't figure out if it was like anxiety, or like I was in the hospital like 3 or 4 times because I would throw up so much I would get dehydrated. And my teachers were so mean. One of my teachers wouldn't let me go to the bathroom anymore. And she made me throw up in the trash can in front of everybody.
Oh my gosh.
And like one of my teachers like wouldn't let me go to like recess even on the days that I didn't feel sick because she was like, you've been out of class too much, like you deserve to stay in here. Like it was really horrible. And my aunt at the time worked at the school. And so when I was feeling really sick, I would just be like, screw it. Like I don't know how to function. I can't stop throwing up. I'm super weak. Like and so I'd go and she taught 2nd grade. She had a reading room made out of a cardboard, like refrigerator box. And I would just like go stay in there. And like the teachers would come find me and be like, Kelly, you can't let Carly keep coming in here. And she's like, what am I supposed to do? Like she's sick and no one's listening. And it was like really horrible. And
that's awful.
Now I know that it was like, I'm sure a lot of it was anxiety, but, I have horrible food allergies. So, you know, I would eat like toast in the morning and cereal and all these things. And I have a gluten allergy that's like horrible. And, you know, when you get sick, like my mom would feed me crackers. Like that was, you know, you have crackers and ginger ale. So it'd make it 1,000 times worse. And it was just so weird back then because no one checked for food allergies. So 5th grade for me was like just like this traumatizing experience because one, I didn't learn anything in 5th grade, and there's lots of skills that you learn like math skills and even spelling and all these things that I'm still like super bad at. And I'm like, I really did miss an entire year of school. Yeah, and they probably should have held me back, but they were like, she's a good kid. She's just sick. So I was like on what was it? Not like anti-anxiety, but sort of. until like high school. And then finally I was like, I don't want to take this anymore. Like, I'm not, like, this isn't doing anything good for me. It was just making me like tired.
I was on anti-anxiety meds in high school. Did they make you feel like a zombie? Because that's how I felt. Like, I know I tried two or three different ones, and they always just made me feel so blah. Just like not human at all.
Yeah, I just felt, I mean, that was like, yeah, I mean, I think I was probably on it till like freshman year. So like, I don't know, like probably 4 years. And I just, was it anti-anxiety? It was something that was supposed to calm my system. So it must have been. But I just felt like, I felt like it was weird because I had to take a medicine to like make me survive. I always felt like that was really weird. Like every time I pop a pill, I'd be like, this is weird. How old were you
when you started?
5th grade.
5th grade. Yeah, that seems
young. It was just a weird experience. And like, that was the same time, like my dad and I like started having a horrible relationship since like 5th grade, which is now totally healed and forgiveness has happened. But, he was a huge part of that, my trauma, because he just didn't believe I was sick, because when he was little, he used to make himself throw up to get out of school. And so he just kept saying like, you're sticking your finger down your throat, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then when they said that it was probably stress, he was like, you're doing it to yourself because you're stressing yourself out. And so it became like this thing where, you know, for years and years, I was like, my dad just doesn't believe anything I say. And so that was like, 5th grade to me was like this really hard point in my life that really kind of defined a lot of the relationships in my life. Like my relationship with my aunt, I was super bonded to her through that. My grandparents used to come pick me up from school because my dad would be like, I'm not coming to get you. You need to stay there. So lots of my relationships that I really bonded with my family were from that like 5th grade experience. It was like, it's so crazy because it was so long ago and you're so young. Now, like, you know, having like Evan's kids and being around, like when I met Ainsley, he was like that age. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was you. Like, that's so young. Like, but you know, my dad just didn't know better. The way he was raised by, you know, his mom died when he was 14. His dad was a military guy. They moved around all the time. He basically raised his sister. Like, he just didn't know.
Sure.
He didn't know how to do it.
I understand that. I mean, our parents are only, they're raising us from their experiences.
Totally.
And they're, I mean, I'm sure your dad now probably looks back and feels horrible. You know?
Yeah, I've never had a conversation with him about it because my dad is stubborn. And I think at some point he would probably be like, I still stand by what I'd say. Probably not like all of his things that he said. But I think part of me had to decide, do you forgive or do you not forgive? And then I think when I chose, like, this just needs to be forgiven and forgotten so that I can have a relationship with my father. I think that's when everything changed. Having Bella has made it like way different too, because he is so in love with Bella and they're just like buddies. And so there a lot of healing has happened. Even Jade, since I've known you, a lot of healing has happened through that.
I would say so. I've witnessed some things with your guys' relationship that I think is actually really beautiful. So
yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like I used to never talk to him. Now, like, call him on the phone. Hey, Dad, what's going on today? Which is just really crazy. But it took me this long, you know.
I remember even in the Bachelor Mansion, you like just having like heart to hearts, you opening up to me and saying that your relationship with your dad was kind of strained. But I can definitely tell there's been some forgiveness there and some healing for sure.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That had to be really hard, though, as a 5th grader and going through that and feeling like nobody believed you or not even knowing what's wrong, you know?
Right. Well, and like and just feeling so sick. I mean, I would be just like sleeping next to the toilet and I was so dehydrated, my hands would clench up. Like I couldn't undo my fingers. Like, and my mom was always there for me, but then her relationship with my dad got strained because she was like, I have to help her. And he was like, she's fine, you know? So it was just, you know, I was like, oh God, are my parents going to get divorced because I'm sick? It was like just so much that a kid
that's so
shouldn't
much
have to deal with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, now I look back and I'm like, that was still awful, but at least there's been healing since then.
Yeah.
So as you guys know, we have 3 boys that need school lunches because it's back to school time, and I don't cook. So I started ordering Yumble Kids, which are these really cool prepackaged meals that the kids can just go to school, throw in the microwave, and they're healthy and they're perfect portions, and they're all really delicious foods like burritos and chicken fingers, but then the chicken fingers come with like broccoli. Genius.
There you go.
So there's no cooking required. The meals come ready to eat. It's ready in 60 seconds, delivered to your door, and it's just easy subscription management. The kids absolutely love them, and I can order something new all the time. They're like, oh my gosh, they're so good. Like, I also actually snuck some for myself. Sorry.
Well, and they're nutritionist approved. All proteins are antibiotic free, hormone free, whole grains. They use superfoods. There's no sugar added. And they make them fun things for the kids to eat. They're delicious. And yeah, I mean, I think I might order it for myself. I don't know.
I think you should. I don't know why you wouldn't.
I don't know
so
why
good.
I wouldn't either.
I've dabbled.
We have a special offer for listeners of Babes and Babies podcast. Get 30% off your 2 weeks of subscription from Yumble by using the promo code BABES. Just go to yumblekids.com and use promo code BABES to get 30% off your first 2 weeks. That's YUMBLE kids.com, promo code BABES.
So I guess you were really sick in 5th grade. Why do you think maybe you weren't as sick in like 6th grade, 7th grade?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the medicine, how they said it calmed my system had anything to do with it. I still was eating all the things I shouldn't. I don't think I always had an upset stomach. That never changed. It was just the throwing up was not as prevalent. And I started my period right before I was in 5th grade. So part of me thinks it could have been a hormonal thing too. I think it was just like a lot of things happening at once with my body, and my body just couldn't handle it. It was probably stress, hormones, food, like all these things. And then I don't know, my body's reaction was just like, get it out of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm curious what your friend dynamic was like. Like, what were you like with your friends when you were younger?
So I had a best friend since, maybe 1st grade. Her name is Brittany, and she came up to me in the I remember on the playground, I had a shirt on my mom had made, and she was like, I really like your shirt. Do you want to be my best friend?
I was like, my gosh, that is
yes.
so cute.
Yeah. So we were best friends. She would sleep over all the time. She had a little sister that would come sleep over too. And she ended up being my best friend till about 6th grade, and then I moved. But it was so weird. In our school, we had up to 4th grade, I had this pretty cliquey friend group, the popular group, who we were in 4th grade. We started being cheerleaders, and we were always on the same squad. And then we all decided, well, we didn't decide. I was not a part of this. It was let's be mean to Carly today. And then everyone would just turn on you. And they chose every day to have someone else, of course, not the person who was the ringleader, to be mad at. And it was the strangest thing ever. It makes me really sad, and I hope no one else is doing this. But it was so weird. So that group of friends, I still I don't keep in contact with. I mean, we're friends on Facebook and stuff. But after I moved, I didn't really talk to any of them anymore. I still will occasionally talk to Brittany and say happy birthday, or I'll write her when I see something on Instagram or something. I think when I was on The Bachelor, we had a bachelor watch party at her house, and I still love her and her sister to death. But yeah, it was, I always kind of hung out with my brothers and their friends, and I would play street hockey with them. And I was kind of that kid, like more so than being like, let's play with dolls or whatever. I was kind of like, well, what are Zach and Denton doing?
Your brothers are musical too, though, right?
But they weren't. So I started doing musicals in like 3rd grade, and then they started auditioning for the musicals I was in because it was like we lived in Grand Prairie, and Grand Prairie always put on a musical every summer. So then they kind of started singing, but it wasn't until my brother and I were in, we both sang in Six Flags. I sang at Six Flags right after I got out of high school, and then he sang like a few years later at Six Flags for a while. And it wasn't until like after high school that he started singing. And then Zach has always just been like, he doesn't care. He'll sing anything.
Yeah.
But we you know, it's funny because I was always like the singer and the musical one. But then I think when we grew older, we all realized like we could sing. So now we just like sing karaoke and do like all these fun things. And we're just like hams. But Denton's the only one who's ever like sang professionally. Zach probably could have, but he's never had the desire to.
He just likes to sing Disney songs.
Yeah.
Karaoke.
Yes. You know what's so funny? It does the best Randy Travis impression. It's
really?
crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So good, you guys.
That's
I'd
funny
love to hear it.
Yeah.
So I guess considering like you grew up with 2 older brothers, would you say, and you said like you played a lot of stuff with them, you weren't really into dolls.
Yeah.
Would you say that you're like growing up, were you like kind of one of the guys? Or would you consider yourself in that friend group? You're like, I'm one of the guys.
100%. Honestly, my biggest fear of going on The Bachelor was, oh my God, I have to be around girls. Like, I thought there's no way I'm going to have friends that are girls because I'm such a guy's girl. Like, all my friends are always guys. Always. Like, it was so, I didn't have like a big girl group at all.
That's probably why you and I connected, because I'm the same way. I have very few girlfriends, and they're like, I have 2 or 3 that are I'm super close with, and that's it. And then really, growing up too, like some of my best friends were guys, but that's probably why like you and I just bonded.
Yeah, because we were like, these girls are crazy.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah,
I'm definitely a girl's girl for sure.
You always had more friends. I felt like you always had like tons of best friends when growing up, and I only had like you. I always felt like you were definitely...
I have too many friends, but I know I always wanted to be one of the like guys girls though, but I just wasn't. I don't think I was tough enough.
Yeah, I don't know how I ended up being that way, but I've always just been super comfortable around guys.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But then sometimes that's like your detriment, because then you become not the one that they want. You become the buddy.
Right.
So,
well, that leads me into my next question of when did you have your first boyfriend?
My first boyfriend was freshman year in high school. I got the like lead in the musical, and he was the opposite.
And
what
a romance.
Yes. What's so funny is his name is Brian, and he is still like one of my absolute dearest friends. Like this guy has like a heart of gold. Even though we've been through like absolute hell together in our relationship because we were so off and on, even in college. But he came from a religion called Branhamism, which you can't kiss until you're married. And so there was a kiss like in this musical, and we couldn't do it. We had to like fake it, which is so funny. But he was also my first real kiss, but it took him so long to do it.
Wait, are you outing him on his religion right now?
You know what? His mom definitely knows. I still like their family. I mean, I think they always thought we would get married. But he after theater banquet, we went to theater banquet together, and I got home, and he was dropping me off my doorstep, and we were standing there super awkwardly, and he went in for the kiss, and it was so bad, you guys. Like,
oh man,
so bad, so awkward. And it was his first kiss too. And I remember, obviously, and I remember saying, okay, so that was like really bad. Can we try that again?
Oh my gosh.
You would.
Yes. What's so funny is like, that's not the first time I've actually said that to a person on our first kiss.
Oh my gosh.
But so Brian and he actually he owns a marketing company, and they actually do my website still. And he is engaged to a man named Caesar now. And Caesar made my dress for Women Tell All on The Bachelor.
I remember that.
Yes. And seriously, like, Brian is one of those people that I get together with and we sit down and nothing has changed. Like, we are still just buds. Like, he's like my soul friend.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but funny first kiss. Very funny.
Did you date anyone else in high school?
I did. We broke up, and then I dated. We were obviously in theater. He was like the good theater guy. Then I dated like the bad theater guy, which was like honestly one of my most fun relationships. He was so bad, and he took my virginity. He was not a virgin.
I didn't know that theater kids could be bad.
He was bad. Like, he drank, he smoked weed, but he was still like cool. Like, you know, in school, like theater kids are like, that person's not cool. But this was still like a cool guy.
Yeah.
That just happened to do theater. His name is Chip, and I think our first kiss, like, he stuck his tongue just so far down my throat, and I was like, this is gonna be amazing. But, you know, I never drank or smoked, like, because it was so different than, you know, the previous one where, you know, we were like rubbed each other like over our clothes, like, you know.
This is so
I am loving this right now.
Yeah. But, like, I mean, like, our first time was like, sorry, Mom and Dad, on the couch, like, upstairs, and like he pulled out a condom, and I was like, oh, this is happening, you know. And I was like, it was just like a funny, like, what is my life right now? And there were times that, like, he was like the person that made me kind of bad. Like, I would skip school. I'd be like, hey, can I go to the library to do study hall? And she'd be like, yeah, sure, just be back by the time the bell rings. And I'd be like, great. And then like I would like sneak out, and we'd go to his house and like hang out, and he'd like, you know, smoke or whatever. And then I'd like drive back to school and like get in my class before the bell rang. Like, that was our relationship. And then I'm just realizing I dated all theater people. And then we broke up. He broke my heart because he cheated on me. And then, I know. And
where is he? We will cut him. Just kidding.
I know.
Oh my God. I saw him like years later, you know, and I was like, I really was Miss Wholesome. And I saw him years later at a party, and I was so drunk. And he walked in, and I remember being like, oh my God, like, I am so not the person that he dated a million years ago. And it was so awkward. And I think he blocked me after that party. But yeah, then senior year, I went to a theater convention, and you go to watch all these shows, and there was this guy from Abilene who was Jesus in Godspell. And I was like, I'd like made a bet with myself and all my friends. I was like, that guy is going to be my boyfriend, because everybody wanted this guy.
You're like, I'm going to date Jesus.
Yeah, I was going to date Jesus. I was like, he is hot. Jesus is going to be
hot
mine.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Hot
and then
Jesus.
Yeah. And then Jesus was mine. And we dated like senior year, and he was like a virgin. So we didn't do anything. He was the sweetest guy ever. Like, played guitar. Aww. And then
wait, did you guys go to the same high school? Since you met at a camp, did you go to different high schools?
No, it was like he went to a high school like 3 hours away.
Oh, man.
So we didn't see each other very often, but we would like drive back and forth. But then when we were dating, I ended up getting into NYU, and he was like, I want to go to NYU too. And this is so terrible, but when he said that, I was like, I don't like you anymore, because you need to be more independent. And so I ended up like breaking up with him after he got into NYU, and we were in the same freaking dorm.
Oh,
and
wow.
like we had signed up for like so many of the same classes, so I had to see him all the time. And then I wanted him back because, you know, you're lonely in college and when you don't know anybody. And then he didn't want me back because he already wanted somebody else. It was just a total shit show. Yeah, but then college, I didn't date anybody. So, you guys, Bella is 7 months old this week. Gosh, and it's completely insane. And, you know, when they get older, more pee-pee and poo-poo comes out. It's just inevitable. And we were having such a hard time with our diapers. So we switched to Honest Company. And I'm so obsessed with them. Not only do they have the cutest fall line that are actually cute, even though they're underclothes. I don't care. I let her run around in them just because they're cute. But they hold so much better, and their bundle option is the greatest thing I've ever done in my whole life.
Yeah, I actually just got my bundle in the mail, and I am actually really, really happy with my diapers and my wipes. I love that they're hypoallergenic, so they're soft and gentle on Emmy's little bum bum, and they do really well. So I love that she's not getting any kind of leakage at night. It's just makes me feel like I don't have to worry about it, and that's such a great thing as a mom. One less thing to worry about.
No kidding.
Well, and they're also eco-friendly and made without harsh chemicals and additives. So, I mean, you should just feel better about the environment as well.
Yes.
Amen.
And like you guys said, the best thing about Honest is their bundle option. So you don't have to go to the store, no running out of diapers. It gets delivered on a schedule that you customize and control. And if you're not 100% satisfied, they're going to work with you to create a solution. They sell trusted home cleaning products and beauty products too, so you can check those out. But this is an exclusive listeners only deal of $25 off our first month's diapers and wipes shipment. Visit www.honest.com/babies and insert the promo code HONEST at checkout. Certain restrictions apply. See website for details. So what made you want to apply to NYU?
I applied to actually only NYU. I wanted to do musical theater. So, the dream is to like go to New York, right?
Yeah.
And this program had 60 people in it. And when you auditioned, it was like, there was a bunch of acting schools you could audition for too. But if you wanted the musical theater department, you had to say like musical theater or nothing, or they could just place you in the other ones. And I remember I went with my dad to the audition because he was the only person that could go with me. And I was learning my monologues on the way to the audition. Like, who was I? It's horrible. And nailed the audition, like crushed it. And I remember being like, I'm getting in. And I didn't apply anywhere else. And I didn't have a SAT score high enough to get in. And I got in on talent alone. And it was like, I was like, I have conquered the world.
Yeah.
And, but I was in, one of the 60 was also Lady Gaga, which is so funny.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
And she was in a bunch of different, she was in my same like 60 program, but you're placed in different acting classes. There's like, I think 2 or 3 acting classes because they can't take all of the 60. So we were never actually in a class together. I mean, we had like lunchroom together,
But same program. Yeah.
But same program. And she was the only other person that dropped out that year, which I thought was so funny because I'm like, oh, wow, we're very smart.
That's crazy.
So what made you want to drop out? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jade.
I'll go.
I just didn't like the program. Like, I don't know. I mean, part of me just wasn't happy in New York. I think it was like super overwhelming for me and I felt really alone. But the only teacher I even thought was really smart was my acting teacher. Like my voice teacher was like still getting lessons in the city. And I thought that was a really weird. Some of my teachers like would rotate out and I'd be like, why do I have a new this teacher? Like this, who are you? Like we've been all year with this person and now you're just going to come in for 2 months. Like it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, this just doesn't feel right. And I didn't feel really like I was learning. And I was like, that was kind of a rebellious time for me too. Cause I was trying to juggle academics, which are the hardest ever at NYU. They're so hard. It was like, I couldn't do both. Like I couldn't learn a song for voice class the next day and try to write this essay and try to do this. Like I just couldn't juggle it all. So I'd go to voice class and be like, I didn't learn the song. And then I'd get in trouble. And I don't know. It was just like not the right place for me at the time.
Gotcha. I have a question. So you were actually born brunette. I want to know when blonde Carly was born.
Actually, I was born blonde.
You were born blonde.
I was super blonde until...
You had dark hair though, right?
Well, I had dark hair and then it turned like... I was like white blonde until... I don't know. I mean, maybe late elementary school.
Okay.
And then had super brown curly hair.
What?
Until senior in high school. And then I started highlighting it. And then I think when the highlights started, it started like progressively becoming, you know, when you get more highlights, it just gets lighter and lighter. So then off and on from that, I would be like super blonde and then I'd dye it back brunette and then I'd get really blonde again. And then it was really just like progressive highlights ended up getting me to like super platinum.
Do you feel more blonde, like in your soul?
You know what? I asked myself that question the other day. I think I have two sides of me because I was like, and this is why I thought of it. Because I was thinking about Wicked and I was thinking, would you rather play Glinda or Elphaba? You know? And I was like, I don't know. Because I am so Glinda that's like,
yeah, I picture you as Glinda.
Yeah, but then I have these dark sides of me that really need to come out and be free. So I'm like, I don't know. I think it's different times of my life. I am blonde, and different times of my life I'm brunette, and I think I need that hair color to like be that on the outside because I need to feel that way at that time. Maybe.
I feel you.
I guess.
I love that musical so much.
It's so good. It's just so good.
Okay, so then after you dropped out of NYU, what did you do?
Then I had my crazy drunken summer where I was just drunk and insane.
Where at? In New York?
No, I moved back to Dallas.
Okay.
And then my parents like let me be crazy for a while. Maybe they didn't know that I was. And then I ended up, University of Oklahoma really wanted me in their musical theater program since high school. And I was just like, no, it's too close. Like, nah. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll go to OU because my friend Brian went. And so he was there and he was like, let me talk to them about you again. And they wanted me. And so they offered me a scholarship. So I went there for a year and a half. And honestly, I think that's like that program is amazing. If anyone is interested in musical theater, they're so good at what they do. Every teacher is like absolutely incredible. You'll learn so much. But then, I don't know. I kind of got more into the like I want to be a country singer mode, and so I started dating this guy. I had met him like once. He was this like, I mean, now he kind of looks like Steven Tyler to be honest. But he's like, he had long hair, and he was like just super grungy, and he lived in this trailer in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I was like, I just want to write music and live with this guy, which my parents loved, by the way. So I dropped out of OU.
Did you move into his trailer with him?
Moved into his trailer.
Oh my gosh, Carly.
And he and I did write some great music. We really did. And then I got an apartment, and he basically just moved into my apartment. And I started feeling super claustrophobic. And I was like, what the hell am I doing in Tulsa, Oklahoma, living with this guy? Like, I'm not progressing in life. Like, this is insane. And I was offered a show in Dallas. And I was like, listen, I am going to take the show. And he's like, if you're taking the show, like, we're going to break up. And at that point, I was kind of like, if we break up, I'm just going to see what that is. And I still had the apartment, so I knew I had to come back. And I did the show. We broke up. I went back, got all my stuff. And then I ended up doing shows in Savannah, Georgia at the Savannah Theater. And then that led to cruise ships.
Okay.
So that's kind of the line of
amazing
where singing took me. Yeah.
You talking about this guy, I just imagine you having this like Sheryl Crow Kid Rock moments in your life.
You know what's so funny though? I was like, I wish I was that cool because I did not like wear cool. Like I should have like been super grungy and like cool with him, but I was wearing like floral dresses.
Which is
really weird.
Which is so funny because one of my memories of you in the Bachelor Mansion was your jewelry case that you always had like 5 or 6 different rings on.
Oh my God, yeah.
You were very like stylish and kind of not grungy, but kind of like edgy.
Hip,
you were edgy.
But I think that, so if I lived in New York again, ever, I would be that way.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that way of dressing. I mean, I guess, I don't know. That was like my New York way of dressing or my LA way of dressing.
Yeah.
And in Nashville, it's just, especially as like a mom, just like really not acceptable to like dress that way.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So sometimes I like let that, like if I'm going to LA or New York, I'm like, oh, I'm bringing all of my like, like, you know, silver, turquoise, like cut up shirt.
You had that like longhorn head.
Oh,
ring.
yes.
Yeah.
That thing was cool. I could hurt people with that. Yeah.
So I am trying to get into wedding shape, and honestly, I don't feel like I even have that much time to go to the gym right now, but that is why I love Beachbody On Demand, because they have such amazing programs on there. And I just signed up for this 80-day boot camp that I'm hoping is going to whip me in to wedding dress shape.
Get it, girl.
Oh my gosh, totally. It's the company behind, did you guys ever do P90X or Insanity?
I actually did.
Oh my gosh, they will whip you into shape so fast. It even has celebrity trainers like Shaun T, Charlene Johnson. They have from like bodybuilding to weight training to cardio to yoga, even dance workouts, which I am obsessed with because I will work out if I'm dancing.
I agree. I really want you guys to try this service because there's literally no excuse not to. It's in your house. You can do it. Right now, our listeners get a special free trial membership when you text BABES to 303030. You will get full access to the entire platform for free. All workouts, the nutrition information, and support totally free. Again, just text BABES to 303030. So tell us about your cruise ship experience then.
Well, what made you want to do it?
You went everywhere.
Well, I know, I did. So my contract was up in Savannah, and one of my friends.
Wait, sorry. At what time? Like, at what age are you at this point?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, like early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was definitely drinking age when I was on my first cruise ship.
Okay.
So I was probably 22, 23, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so my contract was up at the Savannah show. I was only there for like 6 or 7 months. And my friend Rachel, who had been my friend since Six Flags, right after high school, we had been friends for forever. And she had done cruise ships, and she was offered the ship. And she was like, hey, my contract's not done for another like 6 months in Savannah. Do you want to see if you could get the ship? And I was like, what else am I doing? Okay. So I just sent in like a demo reel and was hired within like, 24 hours. And I was like, oh my gosh. I rehearsed. I was a replacement for someone. So I rehearsed on the ship, and I had never been on a cruise ship. Like that was, we didn't take vacations like that. We didn't have money like that. So I didn't really know what I was getting into. But it was like cruise ships to me were like, it was a time of exploration in my life. I was so isolated, I was so away from my family. I could cut off my phone. I didn't have to deal with the outside world. I could do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, do whoever I wanted, whatever I wanted. I don't know. And, explore the world on somebody else's dime. And, as a performer, it really opened me up to a lot of things that I had never done before. Like my first ship was like, to me, I was like, I've never sang things like this. Like it was so hard. I remember failing at a lot of songs and being like, getting in trouble because there were songs that they were like, you have to be better at this song. And I'm like, I don't know how to be better at the song. Like, I don't know how to do it. And like, even my like fourth cruise ship, I was like, oh my gosh, like here I am again, like where I was in my first ship, where some of these songs are so hard. But they were a time of like, I think just like exploration for myself, my soul. And, they really made me like a better performer. But it was also, I saw the world and it was amazing. And in turn, it also made me realize that I was never going to like get anywhere. Like I was never going to have a family. I was never going to progress in my career. I was never going to do the big things that I had dreamed about because I was just living in my own room on a cruise ship. And the only people who saw me were those people on the cruise ship. And then that's when I decided, I was like, I have to stop. Like, if I don't stop now, I'm going to be that person who's 45, single, living on a cruise ship, performing in these shows. And so when I stopped, my brother was actually on Bachelorette. So I came home, and right when I came home, within a week of me coming home from that contract, I was on hometown dates. So I hadn't seen my brother in 9 months, which, you know, my parents hadn't seen him in like a month, but I hadn't seen him in like 9 months. So when he came in, like, it really was like the joyous celebration of seeing one of your best friends. And from there, they were like, we want her on the show. So that's how Bachelor happened for me, was from Zach being on the show, and all my cruise ships have been done.
You originally, they wanted you for Juan Pablo season, right?
Right. And Zach and Juan Pablo were like best buds. And I just knew, I was like, there's like literally no way I would ever date him. Like, if I'm going to go on the show, I want it to work.
Yeah.
You know, like, and at the time too, and this would never have clouded my opinion, because I always went into it being like, I want a relationship. And I had just quit cruise ships literally to be like, I want to get married and have kids. So I was so in that space of like what Bachelor wants you to be in. But yeah, with Juan Pablo, I was like, no, there's no way. And then they said, okay, if there's anybody else you ever, like, we really want you, if there's anyone else you ever see as a Bachelor that you want to date, you let us know. So Jade, when you were saying Crystals came out on Good Morning America, that's when I like emailed, like, I don't know, 3 people. And I was like, I have to do it. Like, he's so cute. I want to do it. And then was I living in LA at the time? I think I might've been back in Dallas by then. I'd lived in LA for a little bit, but then I was like, yeah, I have to do it. And they were like, okay, cool.
You're on.
Yeah. I have a question about the cruise ships real quick. What was your favorite place that you visited or would want to go back to?
You know, I did 2 Mediterranean ships, and my last cruise ship went from Portugal to Japan. So that was just like nuts. It was a small luxury liner that could go in these small ports. But I'm so in love with Italy, which is funny because Evan's Italian, but I would live there. I just love it. It has my soul, mostly because of the wine and the food.
I think it's funny.
Just, like, beautiful.
Yeah. I think it's funny we all married Italian men, by the way.
Like, what
Liz
in
is
the
going
world?
to marry. Yeah.
Yes. What? Like, what is that? Is everybody just
know.
Italian?
I guess.
So funny. But yeah, there are some places, like, we went to like Komodo Island, and like walked around with Komodo dragons.
That's
and like
so
nobody
cool
gets
and
to
scary.
do that. And terrifying. Yeah. But like, there's some things I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, and like one time I was walking around Venice by myself, and like, definitely bad things could have happened to me. And I got lost a lot, and I'd be like, oh, here I am at a dead end, which was like insane. But there's so many amazing places that I went. I do remember one specific time it was my birthday in, Santorini. And I remember being like, for some reason, like, this day is the day that I'm going to start doing whatever I wanted, because I was starting to feel like I was living on everybody else's time. And I remember being like, from this day on, I'm going to do the things that I want to do. And I remember that day, I hate going and eating by myself. I like went and ate this like amazing, elaborate meal by myself, looking over the ocean. And I like took this like donkey ride up this giant hill and like did all these things. And I was like, this is so not me. And now I'm doing it again. But I remember being like, this is the day that I'm going to start doing things for me. And I remember that like really weird pivotal moment in my life. But anyway.
No, that's awesome. So do you feel like as a woman, because like we all, I feel like, have those sort of moments where we're like, I'm going to do this for myself.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you struggled with that? I mean, I know you said you've been pretty independent and opinionated and always have known what you want, but it's also like different when we have like our insecurities. I mean, because we all do.
I think that, so I think with performing, in high school, I would be like, I'm going to cut class and go to this audition. And I would just like take my car and I would just go. And even in college, I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to be this great performer. And then, like I moved back to New York and I waitressed and I never auditioned. And I think it was like a fear thing. Oh gosh, they're going to say no, and then I was like, I want to move to LA and start auditioning for things out there because I'm like really good in front of the camera. And I was like, oh gosh, no, I never went to anything in LA. And so I think, which is so sad because that my gift is being a performer and lots of people don't even know that about me, which is so weird. But again, I haven't showcased that. But like, I think that for some reason, my biggest gift in life, I have the most insecurity with, which is so sad. But I'm trying to get that back.
What is that quote by like Marianne Williamson or somebody?
Yeah, it's like,
there
do not like dull your light. Basically, like what you're good at, you have to let yourself.
I know. I'm finally getting
brighter.
Back there.
Well, and often the things that are like our greatest gifts are the things, that we fear the most because we're afraid to see how great we really are. It's something about like, I'm going to look it up by the end of this podcast and I'm going to share it.
But it is interesting, like, Evan and I never really sang in front of him. We went to New York the other day and went to private room karaoke, and we both had a little too much to drink, and I was, like, blowing and going and wailing and, like, doing all of these songs that I was like, dude, I just crushed Celine Dion. Like, how did I do that? And it was, like, very almost liberating, and then I came home and I was like, I need to start doing this again. Like, I forgot I'm really good.
I mean, you have like the voice of an angel. You really do. You have a beautiful voice.
Thank you. Yes. But it's just been something that I haven't done for a really long time, and I think part of me like kind of forgot, and then I became a mom, and then you think, I think my biggest struggle now is like, okay, if I wanted to sing, like, what does that entail? And does that make me have to take time away from Bella? And like, and then you start feeling guilt about it and things like that. But I am in that place now that I'm like, I have to start doing something with this because one, if not, I'm going to regret it. And two, I do think I owe it to what I've been given to like allow, like I go to musicals because I love the experience of it. And I want someone to have, I can give that to someone else, like that would be fun to be able to give that gift again because I haven't done it in so long.
Well, I found the quote to inspire you, Carly. Are you ready for this?
Thank you. Yes.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Oh, man, that gives me the goosies.
Yeah, I got chills too.
Yeah.
So and the cool thing though, Carly, is I feel like there's so many people out there like that are still discovering their gifts and they don't know what they are. Like yours, what you have to offer.
And it's never too late. It honestly isn't.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast the other day with an actress and she was saying, you think like this is, my time because I want to play these roles. Well, yeah, you could play the high schooler, but then you could play the college student, but then you could play the mom, but then you could play the grandma. Like, you're always going to have a role that's going to be really fulfilling and satisfying. I was like, oh, yeah, that's so true. Sometimes you're like, oh, there's this window of time. Oh, gosh, I'm almost 35. What does that mean? I have to play the mom. Like, yeah, they're great mom roles, but also I don't look quite like a mom yet. I could probably do high school, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
Like, you look at teenage dramas, and those people that are playing high schoolers are like 28.
They are. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Goodness. Yeah,
okay,
I remember, I think in Mean Girls when, who was Regina George? Why can't I think of her name?
Rachel McAdams?
Yeah. she was like in her mid to later 20s playing
so
a junior in high school, you know?
Yeah. She was so good in that role.
I know.
So good.
I want to rewind real quick. What made you, I mean, after your experience on The Bachelor, what made you want to keep going and try Paradise and then try it again?
I mean, so obviously the first Paradise, like, I mean, it crushed me. Like, that was like my biggest heartbreak. Like, I really struggled with it. And it's so weird. I don't even really know why, because when I look back, I'm like, what did we even talk about? Like, I don't even think we really had any in-depth conversations. But I dated like someone off and on for like years, and it was like we never could like make it work. And in between Paradises, I like kind of hooked up with this guy again named Omar, and he was like, what do they call that? Twin flames.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah. So he's like, I'm sure like my twin flame.
Which is usually never your soulmate.
Never my soulmate. And just almost like every single, like if we were something in a past life, we just could never, it just won't ever work. But you still have this strong connection to this person. So,
which
right
usually
after,
means they're there to teach you something, right? Like they're
still trying to figure that one out. Because really, I look back and I'm like, God, Carly, what
I learned
an idiot. Well, he was just so mean. He was just like, I the first time I like saw this guy, I thought it's him. Like I called my mom and said, I know who I'm going to marry. And I was like, I've met this guy, and we had this like amazing weekend, and we were like, oh shit, and I was going on a cruise ship, so he was like, and then he like, I don't know. It was just bad for like 4 years. So in between Paradises, I was kind of like off and on with this guy again. And then right before they called me for Paradise round 2, we had just had like the biggest falling out of our lives. And I had said, I love you. I've always loved you. Like, you know, why do you keep saying we can be together and then not, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it's just never going to work. So I was like, okay, we can never speak again. And when I got to the airport, because he lived in New York, when I got to the airport and was flying home, they called me and asked me to do Paradise round 2. And I was like, no. I was like, I already had this horrible breakup with Kirk. I just had another horrible breakup with Omar, the 20,000th breakup with Omar. Like, I can't. I hate love, you know? And then, like, I think maybe a month later, I just was sitting there and I was like, what if? You know, like, what if something happened? It probably won't, but, like, just go and have fun. Who freaking cares? Really? And so I finally call him back. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. Whatever. Like, who cares? And they're like, great, just go have fun. I'm like, okay. But really, I didn't want to be there half the time. And then
do you
finally
think
I started liking Evan.
Do you think that's why you were kind of really closed off at the beginning of it?
Well, I mean, honestly, like, when I really look back at, like, those first people, you know, the original cast people, I'm still, like, I mean, obviously, Evan and I ended up together, but I still, if I was back in that situation, would have felt the same. I didn't feel like there was anyone there for me. I wasn't having an instant connection with anyone. I mean, you know, Kirk walked in the first time and my friend had said, you need to go out with Kirk. He's so fun. And I remember seeing him and being like, he's so cute. Oh my gosh. You know, and that time I was like, even when I was talking to people, I was like, like, I don't think this is going to work out for me this time, but I guess I'll just like hang out with the girls and have fun. And that was for a while. I mean, I hung out with Sarah every day and we were just like the old people smoking cigarettes. I mean, we weren't smoking cigarettes, but like, if you can imagine the old women like smoking cigarettes, like talking bad about everyone and like just drinking lots of like schnapps. Like,
why do I picture you guys doing that in like an old accent? I'd be like, look at that girl over there.
Yeah, we were those people. And then I kind of started like Evan, sort of, and then she left, and then I did start liking Evan. But I don't know. I mean, I wasn't against finding love. I just was kind of like, okay, I'm going to go for fun. And then I was like, there's nobody here for me. And then like magic love happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a lot of pressure for people to just be like, oh, why didn't you instantly like Evan? Like, that's not how the real world works. Sometimes it's like, oh, I didn't look at him in this light before.
Right.
You know?
And I did like him. Like, I remember looking at Sarah and saying, why don't I love him? Like, he is the best guy. He is such a good human. Why don't I love him? And she was like, I don't know. And like, I remember being so mad at myself for not. Yeah. Until I did.
Until he faked his death.
Right. Until he tricked me into loving him. No. But yeah. I mean, I really was just going for fun the second round. And it was like one of those things like, I'm going to regret it if I don't go. Might as well. And like, what else was I doing at that point, you know? Just out in Nashville, just drinking my life away. Whoops.
I do remember I came to Nashville and it was when Jade was still living there with you and my friend was getting married and I went out with you guys one night and I was dead the next day. I puked my brains out.
Yeah, we went all out that night.
That was like that's hard. Yeah, it was hard.
I could not hang.
A lot of hard nights. Yeah, there were lots of nights I couldn't hang with myself either.
Well, it was crazy though, because Evan lived in Nashville.
Right. Which Evan actually saw me at a bar before he went on The Bachelorette and someone said, hey, that's that girl from The Bachelor. You should go talk to her. And he was like, she looks like a beep. I'm not going to talk to her, is what he said. Which is so funny. But I'm so glad that he didn't because I think even more so if I had met him in Nashville and we had talked, I would have already put him in friend zone, and then it would have been harder to even get out. Mm-hmm. Or maybe not. Maybe I would have met him and been like, he was really cool, and then seen him and been like, oh my gosh, that's that guy again. I don't know.
I agree with you. I feel like that's why Paradise has changed so much is because people are meeting other cast members just through events or purposely trying to meet somebody so they have something set up for Paradise. And I feel like it's works so much better when it's organic. So I think that
100%.
I think you're right when you say that it would have been different.
Yeah. I was really glad he didn't. But it was funny though on Paradise. He's like, I've seen you before. I was like, what? And then it made me like kind of creeped out. I was like, ew, you were looking at me and I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
So funny. But I did know like when we got home, I remember like knowing like this would have worked if like we hadn't even hooked up on Paradise. Like I knew that he would have gotten me. Like we were out on a date and I was like, you would have had me. Like, yeah. Like I had that like deep knowing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What is it about him that I guess made you fall?
I think a lot of it, I was listening to a Super Soul Sunday podcast like yesterday, and that's just like how I can get through life now. It was talking about finding a man of character, and I just remember thinking he was such a man of character, and he was kind, he was a father. I didn't know at the time that he like had a really good job. Like I didn't know any of that. But I just knew that he had a really good heart. And I would see him like, helping people and being like, hey, do you need something? Like, and to me that was just so attractive. And he was so different than anyone I'd ever dated. He was so nice to me. That's so sad. But I mean, I had dated bad people. I was in a super verbally abusive relationship with one guy during my whole Savannah theater time. Like Evan was so different than anybody that I had met. And I just knew like, okay, you've been doing it wrong for so long. Like maybe just see what this would be. And that's like, even when I talked to Jade, when she came there and she was like, I said, he's so weird. And she was like, yeah, but you're weird. And she was like, why don't you try it? He's different than the people that, you tried before. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, Jade, I'll do it.
Yeah. But like, it's like, what if
he was? Yeah.
Might work.
Right. And I think that's why, lots of people were like, how did that even happen? And I'm like, because I realized that what I had been doing for so long was not the right thing for me. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the polar opposite end of the spectrum and realized that's what I needed. Mm-hmm. Sure. It might not be the thing that I'm like instantly attracted to, but it's what I need as a soul to like grow and be with and partner with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and since then, your life has just been crazy.
Yeah. Yes.
There's
no lack of craziness in my life.
But now, honestly, I feel like the cool thing about you and Jade both, though, I mean, because you guys open yourself up to that chance of finding love, and I think even more so since you did, you kind of do get more of, you are kind of put on a pedestal, but that pedestal is like, you get more opportunity, because of that. I think almost that might be the way to open that door to what you want next.
Yeah, you're totally right.
And with that, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I mean, I definitely, we're still trying to figure out if we want another kid or not. I'm very okay with both. Having another one and not having another one, I could totally see being fine with either. But like if I got pregnant, I would be so excited. But if I didn't, I think I'd be like, okay, it's not meant to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely want to do more things with my talent and my voice and, give the gift that I haven't been giving in a while. So probably doing musicals, maybe writing some of my own music again, just kind of getting back in that circle I've been out of for a really long time. And also like, being a very present member of this family, 'cause I think it's kind of hard to like balance both of those things. So like being present here, but also being present in my dream.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like the struggle, but the goal.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, for sure. What is one thing that, I guess as Bella is growing up, what's like one thing that you hope that she learns that maybe it's something you went through that you never hope she does, or just something that you hope to like instill in her as a young woman growing up?
I think so. My grandfather always used to say, dream your dreams and work like hell to make them come true. And I just so want that for her, because I don't want her to have the same fears I did. Like if she wants to be, a famous, like, psychiatrist, like I want her to go and write the books and do the things and be a professor and like not be hindered by herself. Mm-hmm. Like, if she wants to be a famous soccer player, even though I'm like, no, not soccer. Like I want her to be able to go kick that ball so hard that it just goes in the goal every single time and not be scared that she's going to miss, like I want that for her. I want her to dream her dreams and work hard and have, but know that anything is possible. That's what I want. Be fearless.
Yeah. I feel like you're kind of fearless, though. Although, like you said that
no, I have so many fears.
I know.
I need to get rid of them.
Say that, but I see. I don't know. I know you say that, and everybody does, but like you're still, there's this part of you that still is very fearless.
Yeah, I think to me, it's like the hard part is like getting in the door. But once I'm in the door, I'll crush it. I just need to get in the door. You know what I mean? And I think that's the hard part for a lot of people.
Totally.
Like, how do I just get in that meeting? How do I get to that interview? How do I do this thing? Because I know once I'm there, that's where I shine, Yeah.
What is your life saying?
Gosh, I mean, part of me thinks I have different ones for different times in my life. Mm-hmm. I think like for a long time, mine was like dream your dreams and make them work to make them come true. I think there's times that I'm like, this too shall pass, which is kind of where I'm at right now. Like there's been a lot happening in our life that that we just keep private. That is like, okay, this too shall pass. And I just think I think my mantra right now is this too shall pass, and knowing that when something is happening that you think, ooh, this is a lot, this is bad, that in turn, it's a blessing. And that we'll look back one day and say, I am so blessed that happened, because if not, this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my mantra every day is I'm like, okay, we're going through a lot, but this is for our good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm trying to like make myself like be spiritually there.
That's a very positive outlook, though, you know.
I'm trying.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's like different. I mean, because it's like, even though sometimes things suck, it's like deep down, that you're going to learn something, you're going to grow, there's going to be an opportunity, there's going to be, something, even if it's a crappy lesson that, like you said, later on, you're like, wow, I'm glad I learned that,
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But that's hard. And I feel like so many people can probably relate to that,
Yeah. But I think if you really I think the best thing that that I try to do is really just step back. Like I put my life in front of me and I step back and I look at it from like an outsider's perspective and think, okay, how do I do this? If I'm looking in and I'm not feeling the emotions, how do I navigate this? So that's kind of like what I try to do sometimes.
It's actually a very good tool to handle life and to learn how to like, okay, problem solution. When you kind of remove yourself from sometimes the overwhelming.
Like removing the emotions.
Yeah. Removing yourself, assessing the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good tool.
And I feel like I'm a realistic person. Maybe that's why like my dreams sometimes seem far off. But like I think that one of my biggest assets is I'm very realistic. And so like I have the ability to do that, to say, okay, what this is life. Now how are we going to deal with it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good.
But yeah. I say that now. But
right.
Anyway.
No. I just have one more question. What is, I guess like if you could pick a couple of moments in your life that you think really shaped who you are, what would they be?
Gosh. I think from like a performer's perspective, at University of Oklahoma, I got a job as the understudy to Kelly O'Hara, which is a super famous Broadway actress. And I remember being like, oh, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Like, that's going to be good on a resume. And I remember, actually, she got really, she got in a car accident one day. I almost had to go on for her. And I was like, this is the most terrifying thing ever. Let me on. But, like, I remember that as a performer is probably one of those moments I was most excited about, because I was like, yes, I've really done it. I think probably in 5th grade till now, those relationships that I've had that have totally changed is something that's really shaped me, even though it's like a moment in time then, but a moment in time now has totally, that time period has totally changed all of those emotions. And then I think, having Bella, like she's the, like the angel that I never knew that I needed. And she, it's marrying Evan and being a part of this family there's been really trying moments. And I think that Bella has really helped. I mean, she's been the glue for really all of us. She makes everybody so happy, and she makes us kind of a unit, because we were, 2 separate families and now we're one. And I think that she's made me look at things differently. So, yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Well, I feel like I learned so much about you. I didn't know you lived such a crazy life.
I'm gosh,
you definitely were living La Vida Loca, Carly.
You know what? I still want to. Like, I think that being like crazy and just like going through all the adventures is like the most fun part of life.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, this has
just
been
couldn't be
fun.
boring.
This has been really fun. I feel like I know you so much better, and you were just so open with us. And I think a lot of people can relate to a lot of things that you've been through, you know?
Yeah.
So thank you for being so open with us.
Yeah. I feel like I was really long-winded at times.
No.
Sorry, guys.
No, it was great.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
We love you. So it was fun. I feel like we should do maybe even little podcast excerpts like this more often, because
totally.
I really am learning so much more about you guys. So
it's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And if you guys have any extra questions about us, feel free to ask us and we can answer them. If you were like interested in something and then we like didn't talk about it as much as you would like, then maybe we can.
I feel like that after my episode, I was like, oh my gosh, I just scratched the surface. I have so much more I want to talk about.
100%.
But then I feel bad. I'm like, I just want to talk about myself. You know what I mean?
I know. No,
like,
it's
maybe
not,
I
though.
do need a therapist.
Oh my! Yeah, I'm actually going to start going to one. By the way,
I think I probably should.
I think everybody needs one at different points in their life.
I feel like it's so helpful.
I'm going to go to one. I just need to find the right one.
But thank you guys, everyone, for listening. And we want to thank, we just added some moderators on our Facebook group to help us. We have such an amazing, huge group, but it's so hard to keep track of everything. So Daniela Rowland and Lauren Miner kind of took the lead of putting together some moderators for us. And we just want to thank you guys because it really, really helps us out a lot. And also I don't know, we might be launching something new for you guys soon that we're really excited about.
Yeah,
we're just trying to get some things together.
Like our lives. No,
right.
No kidding. I mean, it's just, we want to be able to present extra content besides just the podcast. So we're exploring that, we'll just say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, nice little tease there, guys.
Yes. But thank you guys so much for listening. And we just love you guys. We love your support. We know that we've gotten a lot of feedback from people saying that they can relate to the people that we have on and the stories that we share. So don't forget to share with your friends who may get something out of this. And subscribe and rate us. And yeah, have a wonderful week.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye, guys.
See you next time.
This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Babes and Babies, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.